And now let's get to the big interview of the day. We're featuring a startup which has managed to get James Murdoch to invest. That's right, the world's largest media barons looking at the Indian startup universe. And he's doing so and beginning his journey in India's startup universe with Harappa Education. James Murdoch's Lupa Systems will take majority stake in this startup, Harappa Education. With this, Harappa says it's at ease for the next 3 years as far as its expansion plans go. What does Harappa Education do? Well, basically, it goes back to the basics and the teachings of the ancient Indian civilization, Harappa, and marries it with modern technology to upskill young professionals. It could be life skills, cognitive skills, social skills. But what is it that got James Murdoch so interested in Harappa? I'm going to be joined now by Pramath Raj Sinha, the founder and chairman and managing director at Harappa Education. He, of course, is the one who would have played a very crucial role in pitching to James Murdoch, figuring out why it is that James Murdoch would be interested in the first place in Harappa Education. Mr. Sinha, good evening. Thanks for joining us here on Startup Central. A big congratulations to you and the entire team at Harappa Education. Do you want to first begin by telling us a little bit about this deal? I know you've not disclosed any numbers, but it'd be pretty cool to know how much James Murdoch has put into an Indian startup, and this is the first one he's doing so in the country.
Thank you, Nantara. Thanks very much for having us on the show, and thank you for your wishes. Listen, the fact is that neither the investors nor are in a position to we are in a position to disclose the actual amount. But needless to say, I think you can read between the lines when we say that we've been happy to hand over majority stake in the company to Lupa Systems. And the reason behind this is really that with a partner like Lupa, we don't really have to worry about funding for a long time. And as long as we deliver and do what our goal, against our goals and against our mission, at least the funding part will be taken care of. And this was a very deliberate move on our part, because my co-founder Shreyasi and I really want to focus on building the business. And I'm, as you know, very passionate about education, and I would like to focus on that, and I'd like to build it out and let Lupa and James worry about the funding. So really it's with that intent that this funding has happened, which is why we are not very focused on the amount, because it's more the security and support and long-term commitment that we were attracted by. And of course they are very committed to India, so that adds to that support and commitment, because James, with his experience with Star and so on, is very committed to India, and we are very committed to making education and access and scale in high quality education a big part of our commitment to India as well.
I take your point, Mrs. Sinha, and I'm just going to now start focusing on what it is that you guys do at Harappa Education and lean on the basics of the Indian civilization. But before I do that, I'm just going to address the elephant in the room. It's going to be what a lot of the people tuning in will want to know about. You've now got the backing of the world's largest media baron behind you. How did the deal happen? How did James Murdoch and Lupa learn about Harappa Education? If you can just tell us a bit about that.
So, I come from a business and a media background, and so there's been an association with James that goes back, and I think we've been exchanging notes about what I'm doing and of what he would do after he came out of the family business. And so the timing sort of matched. I was working on building out Harappa, and obviously a lot of people know about my interest in education. So we were talking about what could happen in India and what could work out. And when I mentioned that I was building Harappa, and I talked about what I was trying to do and what the intent behind was. I think what really attracted his attention, and I think that's what Harappa is about, is the potential to have transformational impact and to do that at scale in a place like India where high quality education is in great demand. And of course there's also the potential to scale this globally and to take it beyond India over time, which is also one of our stated intents. So I think the different aspects of what we are trying to do was something that obviously attracted him, and then one thing led to the other, as often happens in these situations.
Okay, so sometimes as they say, it's a good luck charm, and I think this one worked out, the golden age and all of that. But Mrs. Sinha, now let's talk about Harappa. Can you tell me, when you say that you lean on the basics of Harappa, marry it with technology, upscale it, whether it's to do with cognitive behavior, social behavior, can you explain it and break it down for the viewers of ET Now, the viewers of Startup Central, that what it is that you folks are really doing?
So what we are really doing is reminding people that what really makes you successful in life is, of course, the technical and the functional skills that you acquire through school and college education. But in today's day and age, and for the longest time and in the entire history of the human race, the things that distinguished and made human beings successful was our ability as a species to think, to problem solve, to communicate, to work together with each other, and to also be very self-aware and grow ourselves as individuals. And this is actually at the center of all human endeavor, human aspiration and success. Somewhere along the way, I believe in all of the work that I've been doing in education for the last 20 years, that this has gotten lost. This idea that people first need to learn how to think, they need to learn how to problem solve, and instead of cramming them with knowledge, which is what our system does, and making it all exam and scores oriented, we really need to build the fundamental skills of people. Our alluding to Harappa and calling us as Harappa is somewhat symbolic, that these are foundational skills that have been forgotten but are as useful today, and you could argue are even more useful and relevant today than they have ever been. So everybody is talking about Industry 4.0, everybody is talking about future skills and the workplace of the future, 21st century skills. And if you really distill it down, employers are finding that these are the skills that are most essential for individual success, professional success, career success, but also organizational success and performance. And these are the skills that they find really lacking. You go out and recruit.
I take your point, Mr. Sinha.
And you find that
I take your point, Mrs. Sinha, but if you could, for the benefit of our viewers, actually illustrate that with specific anecdotes, where you say that never more than before have we needed to go back to what it is that Harappa symbolizes and use it today. Can you explain that and illustrate that with specific examples?
Yes, of course. I think the quintessential example that we have in India today is that everybody is doing engineering. Now, you hire a high quality engineer or a software programmer, and the fact is, while they may be very adept at programming and coding, they don't really know how to communicate. They don't really know how to work with others. They don't really know how to develop and grow themselves in their role. When you give them ambiguous or somewhat unstructured problems to solve, they don't know how to solve that problem. They don't even know where to start. They don't know how to think about it. how do you develop those skills? Because those are the skills that people really value over time, as employers really want people to have those skills. And this is often referred to as the employability gap, or the fact that while there are a lot of educated people, they are not employable. So that's a specific example where we are training a lot of our young people on very specific professional disciplines, but they don't have these foundational skills. The ability to think critically. I think in today's day and age, this whole notion of fake news and not being able to distinguish between what is fake and what is real when you read something is, I think, an essential societal skill. So in some sense, these skills are life skills that go beyond just professional skills. So I hope that gives you a very pithy example of what we are talking about. And there are many such skills that I can allude to, which is what we cover through our 25 online courses at Harappa.
So how long is each course and how much does it cost?
So each course, we have 25 courses. So just to step back, we have 5 areas. We are saying that, to be successful in life, whether it's my career or yours, Nayantara, there are 5 essential habits that we have to master throughout our lives. The ability to think, the ability to solve, the ability to communicate, the ability to collaborate and work with others, and the ability to lead, as in leading yourself, leading your awareness, your self-growth and development. In these areas, in these 5 habits, we have 5 courses each. So we have 25 courses. Each of these courses are a very rich mix of academic concepts, videos, slides, animation, assessments. It's a very rich set of attributes that build up a course. And each course is about 6 hours long. Our rough pricing is about 1,500 to 2,000 rupees a course, depending on what additional material people would like to access, in addition to the raw online MOOC that is available for each of these courses.
And, obviously now that you've got the backing of James Murdoch, you can follow your passion of education and what it is that you folks are doing and leave all the money problems, right, to Lupa and James Murdoch. You alluded to this in your first answer. Obviously, there are global plans. Can you share with us what that could be?
Yes, so I think there are multiple ways in which this business can scale. Right now, we are essentially focused on providing these skills, which we think are foundational and core in some ways, to sort of the English-speaking early professional who is graduating from college or working in the few early years of their professional career, say in the early 20s, when they have just joined a job. Now, this is just that target audience that we are going after, and this is all in English. But clearly, one way to take this to very many people is to actually take the English language content to the rest of the world and the English speaking world. We think it's very easy for us to do that. Some of our material may have to be contextualized, but it's quite easy to scale this to the English speaking world. And we see tremendous application across South Asia, Middle East, and of course the Western world as well. Then there is the aspect of taking this content into the vernacular space. And again, you can do that both in India and you can do that in other countries around the world, because this whole education employability gap is there surprisingly in many, many countries around the world. And then the most exciting part about this is that, as you can imagine, these are skills that should be learned right from day one when you enter school. And so the exciting part is being able to take these skills and this content all the way down into the K-12 system and be able to extend it there. So we see tremendous potential to grow across languages, geographies, and stage of education.
I'm going to make this my last question. Your name, of course, coming from an ancient civilization, which is also sometimes called the Indus Valley civilization. Will you be rebranded so that it is, globally better understood or something, or will you be staying as Harappa Education?
No, we love our name. We thought long and hard about what name to pick, knowing full well that one day we will be global and hopefully be around across the world. We think Harappa has a nice ring to it, in the sense that at one level it could be a name anywhere in the world. But then for people who know, it has a very strong Indian and Indian civilization connotation in any case. So there's a subtlety and elegance to it, and I think it harks back to a time when we in India had it harks back to a time when we had a very deliberate, planned existence from the little that we know about the Harappan civilization. It was a time of excellence, it was a time of great learning, and it was a time when India was connected to many other parts of the world. So for us, it invokes a lot of the kinds of themes that we are trying to build this around. And I think if we are going to be successful as an educational institution, which is how we see it, that we are building, say, the next Harvard or the next Ashoka online, then this name actually rings very true with that vision that we have.
Okay, so you got a Coursera, you got a new Demi, and now you got the brand new Harappa, which has James Murdoch, indeed very interested, wants to take it global. Mr. Sinha, with that, I'm going to wish you all the very best, and thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us here on Startup Central.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.